Hey, what's poppin' YouTube? Are you gaming on a low-end gaming PC and looking to stream? Stay tuned to find out the best Streamlabs settings for your PC.
Pastel pink in the sunset. You know I never wanna make you upset. How did I become so obsessed with this?
Alright, so the main two things we're going to be looking at are going to be output and video. I can't change any of these because I'm currently recording, but these will be all highlighted for you and you won't have to worry about that. So if you're streaming on Twitch, numbers are going to change based on whether you're affiliate or if you're not affiliate. Base canvas resolution is going to be what you're gaming at. Probably for all of you, I would assume that's 1920 by 1080p. Output resolution, however, is going to be what your stream is seeing. Usually people watching your stream are going to be watching on a phone, so 720p isn't going to be too bad for that, as well as it's going to be less bits for your computer to send, so it's going to help with OBS not dropping frames. Now for me on my PC, I found that this downscale filter doesn't really affect anything frame-wise, so I suggest setting it at the highest. If you're having problems with it at the highest, you know, maybe you just scale it back a bit, see how that looks. For FPS type, you're going to want to run common FPS values, and common FPS values, I suggest 48 if you're running a low-end PC. By the way, my specs are in the description. I consider my PC a low-end PC for streaming and gaming on at the same time, at least. 48 helps out because it's a great compromise for frame rate and for not dropping frames. It doesn't really look any different on the stream, and it's going to help with OBS not dropping frames. Alright, now taking us over to output, we have the streaming tab up here. By the way, make sure your output mode is on advanced. That's how you're going to see everything I have here. For audio track, you just want to leave that at 1. Your encoder now, if you have a good processor, you're going to want to probably set it at X264. And what do I mean by good processor? I mean an 8-core and up processor, because if you're gaming and streaming on the same PC, that's going to be using a lot of processing power. When encoding up a graphics card, you're usually going to want to hope that you have an NVIDIA graphics card. I personally don't. I have AMD and I find it works just fine, but NVIDIA graphics cards are much better because they have a separate portion of the card that is specifically made for encoding. So if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, you're going to want to go ahead and select NVENC new. That's NVENC, and then in parentheses it should say new. Now I would recommend checking enforce streaming service encoder settings. You can check or uncheck rescale output. With rescale output, I haven't noticed a difference having it unchecked. If you're finding that you're dropping frames, you might want to try checking that and see if that does anything. Now you're going to skip right over preset and come to the rate control method. You're going to want this set at constant bitrate or CBR. This is going to keep your bitrate constant and it's going to make the stream look nice. Now if you're not affiliate, you're going to want to have your target bitrate at 2500 to 3000. This is because when you're not affiliate, the person who's watching, their internet has to go in and pull that bitrate. So if their internet isn't fast enough, they're going to be stuck buffering for a long time and they're not going to want to stay around and even hit that follow button. If you are affiliate, I recommend around 6000 to 7000 bitrate. Again, you want to play with this based on what's happening in your Streamlabs, whether or not you're dropping frames in OBS or not. Filler data, you're going to want to have that enabled. Keyframe interval, this is basically the amount of time it takes for frames to be sent to the stream. If you set this to 0, it's auto and it'll go between 1, 2, and 3. 1 is the best I've heard. I've also heard 2 is the best. So, you know, play with that to your liking, see what you like best. View mode, you're just going to want that on basic. So now I'm going to go ahead and head over to the recording tab if you guys want this. I have my type set to standard. Your recording path, that's just where you want your recording to go. Recording format, depending on what you're editing your videos with, generally you're going to want this set to MP4, as I believe that is universal. I don't think there's any software that's going to deny an MP4 file. Audio track, again, you're going to want to keep that to 1. Recording, you probably want to use the same encoder as you're using for your stream. Rescale output, I do have this on here. Custom muxer settings, you can watch videos on this if you want to learn more about this. I'm not going to act like I know anything about that. Preset, again, you're going to just leave that blank. Quality preset, I have mine set to balanced. You can set that to quality or speed based on if you're dropping frames or not in OBS. Rate control method, again, I have that set to CBR. This time I have my target bitrate though set to 5000 instead of 7000, as I find I drop frames a little more when recording rather than streaming, which doesn't make much sense to me, but It just happens. Filter data I have enabled, keyframe interval I have set to 1, and view mode is basic. So now that you have those all set, guys, you just want to go ahead and hit done in the bottom right hand corner, and that's going to push that away, and you will have Streamlabs right here open up again. I have one last tip for you guys. If you guys are still dropping frames in OBS, it can be a compromise. You're going to get a few more drop frames in game, but it can make it so OBS doesn't drop frames at all. So it's a very simple fix. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to close out of OBS. Obviously I can't close out of it because it's going to end the recording, but you're going to go ahead and right click on it, and you're going to hit run as administrator. Now basically what this does is it puts OBS as a priority over everything else in your computer. So instead of it being, you know, maybe gaming, then your frames, then your stream, it'll be stream, gaming, frames, etc., etc., right? It's going to put it at the top of that priority list over everything else. So Streamlabs will not drop frames. As I said though, guys, this does not come without a slight compromise. You might see more frames dropping in your game, and the stream obviously will see that too, but they are going to be seeing exactly what you are seeing rather than maybe those 5% drop frames. Alright guys, as always, if you guys did find this video helpful, please make sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. It always does help out a lot. The second best thing you guys can do for my channel after that is going ahead and sharing this video with some friends. Yes, YouTube algorithm will eventually put my videos in recommended feeds, but for now, the best thing you guys can do is hit that share button, maybe put it on your Snapchat or your Instagram, and a few people see and maybe come over. As always guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.